Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Rangman Show. Today we have a very special guest in Shashwat Kohli, who's carved a niche for himself playing cricket in India, and now he's traveled overseas to have a representation in the United States. He plays minor league cricket right now in the United States and harbors an ambition to represent Major League Cricket and then eventually play for the United States. Welcome to the Rangman Show, Shashwat.
Thank you so much, Pranay. I'm really excited to be on this show.
How's your experience been coming back to India?
India is always nice. It's like feels like home, right?
So speaking about India, थोड़ा अपनी beginnings के बारे में बताओ कि what got you into this sport that we so love.
So I think getting into the sport was a pretty common part, like playing with friends. But I think what really got me into it was my friends only. So my mom always sent me for tennis classes, and she always wanted me to be in racket sports. But all my friends used to play cricket in the park, so I used to bunk those tennis classes and then kind of join them because I couldn't resist missing the fun.
So you couldn't bat for the racket, but you batted for the bat.
Definitely,
Also,
yeah.
you have something in common with another cricketer. You may have heard of him. His name is Sachin Tendulkar.
Oh, I thought I thought you were again going to say I've heard a lot of Virat Kohli comments on me that I have got big names.
We don't go for the lowest hanging fruit.
No, on the Rangman Show, we only believe in honoring the name, not the surname.
Thank you.
So, in the 83, during the 83 World Cup, Sachin saw the World Cup apparently, and then he used to play tennis, and he hung up his tennis racket and started playing.
Oh,
So even I didn't know this, Nishan.
Yeah,
This
so
is
when he said rackets, I was like, you're the second cricketer who's done this. He's
Oh.
kept the tennis racket and picked up the sporting.
Glad to share this with him.
Yeah.
so. When did you realize that आपको tennis से cricket में आना था?
I think the thrill of cricket and the thrill of team sport is always, the camaraderie with the friends and all. That kind of drew me there. The moments, the strategy, everything, planning with friends and all. I think that's the thrill of it that really gets you to cricket. And an
Right.
individual sport is a lonely sport, I would say.
Yeah. You like team sports basically. The team
Yeah.
part of it also.
The team part of it makes it fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we never do the Rangman Show individually. We always a team doing it.
Yeah, who has teams? Tennis doubles also has teams, huh?
I knew. I sort of figured you were going there. तो शाश्वत तो आपने टेनिस छोड़ के क्रिकेट शुरू किया तो फिर इंडिया में हाउ डिड यू क्लाइंब द लैडर?
सो एक बार ही जब शुरू किया हमने क्रिकेट खेलना, सो ऑल ऑफ अस काइंड ऑफ रियलाइज राइट कि हमें इंटरेस्ट है, देन वी काइंड ऑफ गॉट इनटू एन एकेडमी एंड ऑल, बट एंड देन जस्ट randomly our coach said कि under 16 के trials हो रहे हैं, you should go, and I had no clue about it. So it was just like okay, and I used to bowl leg spin at that time. It was just like I went to the first. So in UP there are various stages of trials. First you have a district trial, then you have kind of a zonal trial, then you go to Kanpur, and then you have 3 more rounds of trials there among 1,000 children. Then you have the trial matches, then you have a camp, and then finally you kind of, because again UP is a very big state, right? So for me it was like went to the district trials, got selected. Okay, first time I'm going, so I had no clue about this organized cricket and all. Then went to the zonal, again got selected. Then went to Kanpur, and for me it was such a big thing, like for me and for my parents, because I was only 14 and I was trying to get into under 16. And in under 16 UP, if you go, you hardly see people without a beard in under 16, because yeah, so there's a lot of you can say overage players there. And I still remember I was there in Kanpur, and one fast bowler bowled a bouncer and broke the nose of the batsman under 16.
Wow.
Oh my god.
And that day I was like, thank God I'm not a batsman. I don't have to bat in these nets. But yeah, so that's how I broke through the first round, broke through the second round. And in the third round, I couldn't make it to the trial games, basically because I was considered that he's a little small, because at the age of 14, I did not have this height. I was like maybe like 5'5", 5'6". And like I told you, in under 16, you hardly see players who are really under 16.
Right.
So in front of them, I was physically very weak, and also they said he's young. Let him come next year.
Right.
But yeah, so all these things just happening to me kind of made me believe that okay, I might have some good talent, and that's where you kind of start dreaming that you got the talent and all, and that's where your kind of the journey for professional cricket starts.
Right. Does one of those trials stand out to you in terms of you did a amazing performance or something like that? Maybe like you did something very.
या वो सिर्फ ट्रायल एंड एरर ही चल रहा था.
उस टाइम पे इतना उस टाइम आई हैड अ वेरी गुड गूगली, और मेरे को इतना पता है कि अंडर 16 के एज ग्रुप में उस टाइम पे सब फंस रहे थे उस पे. मतलब मैं गूगली डालता था, आउट हो जाता था, मिस कर देता था. तो it wasn't, and because my first, when you're going there for the first time, you don't really, I had no clue about the magnitude of it, about how many players had come there, how much they had practiced, the struggles, anything. I just went there, I just bowled, and then I was like, okay, this is not that bad. I kind of got through till this round.
Nice.
So yeah.
Also in India, when you look at cricket, you just see the Indian cricket team or India A, India B.
Yeah.
But uske niche jo Ranji ke niche bhi there are so many levels.
Lots of levels.
Club cricket, fourth division, third division, second division, first division. Then you go into like pre-state. Then you go into state. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's a massive, and our population doesn't help. Our population doesn't help.
Trust me, I've seen 1,000 kids in a ground which is like 60 meters. So so consider it as like a Ferosha Kotla, which is 60 meters, and 1,000 people in it. I've seen that in Kanpur.
Wow. How do you think? What do you think about the grassroots level of management? Did you enjoy it? You said you kind of enjoyed your time there as well, right?
Grassroots.
When you started going in this the zonal and then the district and all of that.
So the way it was conducted was that it was. I'm sure now it's not conducted in that way, but that time it was conducted like people, so Kanpur is the hub of kind of the cricket in UP. So the way it was done was that everybody is coming from different towns, right? Small towns, catching trains by road and all. And then you get a ballot number, kind of a bib number. So everybody is in their lines getting bib. So by the number written, you get an idea of how many people are there. So that's why I knew there were 1,000 people, because somebody had a number like 1108 and all. So then how it goes is like, so there's a loudspeaker, and they say, okay, batsmen from 200 to 400 pad up and line up, and then all in those 200 players, who is a batsman will come, and who are our bowlers will go there, and then they will segregate the bowlers like in the based on the proficiency, if you're a fast bowler and all. That's how trials used to happen. So there will be batsmen who would be standing in the line for half an hour to play for 5 minutes,
Wow.
So that's how
that is incredible.
And it was like you would be at the ground from morning 9 a.m. and till 6 p.m. you would be there. Then maybe sometimes, because of the massive number of people, the trial would kind of continue the next day also.
You might not get to play that day.
And in the evening, what used to happen was every evening they would come out with a list and of all the players who got selected. So they will shout like 623, 646, and everybody's kind of raising their hand and then keep moving. And whoever doesn't get called out goes home.
It's it sounds like a mixture of an indigo boarding thing and roadies.
But that's what it sounds like.
It sounds like client agency that कभी खुश नहीं रहता.
That's how it
But I must tell you guys that about 200 years back, when I was young, even I played at the Green Park in Kanpur.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, Green Park is a very flat.
Guys, I'm that old. Huh?
Yeah. Green Park is old. You're not old. Green Park is old.
But Shashwat, offline you were telling me that generally when you hear a cricketing story, it's starting from a humble background and then trying to like sort of pave your way and become semi-known to a known cricketer. But aapke saath, you come from a fairly affluent family. Your mom has her own business. Your father's a software engineer. So did you ever think that, yeah, I have something which is fairly cushioned and I should be getting into that, versus sort of giving that up completely and trying to carve a niche for yourself in a sport which was fairly alien? I mean, you wanted to go into tennis and then cricket happened.
And not just alien, it's very, by your own, it's extremely competitive. India mein do
so alien in the sense that you have a lot of competition. That's why alien.
People either want to become actors or they want to become.
No, I totally agree on the alien point. The sport, maybe the sport is not alien, but the dynamics of how the sport works in the country, you're alien to it. And my parents were completely alien to it, because my parents were like, my dad does a job, my mom at that time was setting up her own business, and they had zero clue about how cricket works. And I was a kid, so you don't expect me to understand the dynamics of how selection works and
You
everything.
still look like a kid, यार. आप fairly young लगते हो.
Yes. The age doesn't say itna young.
नहीं नहीं.
But
I'm 200 years old. He's 150. उस हिसाब से तो you're fairly young.
but so they had no clue. I think that was one of the drawbacks, you know. I would say कि मेरे पेरेंट्स, मेरे फैमिली में ही किसी के पास बैकग्राउंड नहीं था क्रिकेट का. द अवेयरनेस की, यू नो, कि हाउ ये होता कैसे है ये स्टेट. वन ऑफ द रीजंस वाज आल्सो कि मैं फर्स्ट टाइम ट्रायल में इतना स्मूथली आगे चला गया था कि my parents and everyone thought, oh, it's completely like black and white, you know, you do well, you kind of go through, but
Right.
as you grow up you realize the world is gray, it's not black and white. So yeah, matlab, initially when until 18 19, because I kind of had got that talent thing, talent tag next to my name, I don't think I ever thought about joining my mom's business or really doing some job kind of thing. But you know, as you hit your 20s and you see that you've not made a major mark, then you kind of start double guessing your choices and all. But that way, I would say my parents have been really supportive. They have never said to me that, you know, you should just leave this and join our business. Maybe a couple of times when they were frustrated, but overall not really. And I have always believed that, you know, if I work hard enough, something or the other thing will land up in my. I am a very big believer of doing my own work, and I've become a big believer of that because of my journey. So you can say that till 21 22 I was very result oriented, very like, why the hell is not this not happening, I'm working hard enough and everything. But I think that a point comes when you realize, okay, it's I have to do my job. So I spent hours and hours alone on the field just doing my stuff.
Right.
And over the years I've just kind of started to get satisfaction that I've done my job. Rest, if anything happens. But the day I leave cricket, I shouldn't look back and see I could have worked more.
Right.
That is the only one thing I carry in my life, that the day I leave cricket, I shouldn't have regrets about my hard work.
ट्राई कर लिया, जितना देना था उतना दिया.
मैं अपनी जो एंड से पूरा जोर लगा दूंगा. रेस्ट इज आई हैव रियलाइज्ड इट्स अ बिट ऑफ फेट आल्सो, एंड वेयर यू गेट द अपॉर्चुनिटीज एट व्हाट टाइम. But yeah, I can proudly say that I never kind of wasted any day of my life.
You know, आपके in cricket you feel like जो भी किया है काफी होना चाहिए. I mean, there's nothing which says that I should have worked more. हम दोनों के profession में before we became podcasters, which was communication, हम दोनों यही सोच रहे थे काश we would have slept more. because हमें कभी सोने का टाइम ही नहीं मिलता था. हमेशा 24/7 काम ही करना पड़ता था. तो इसके लिए हमने सोचा यही बेटर है. और फिर हमें पता चला कि आप आ रहे हो, तो हमने सोचा कि और भी बेटर. सो अभी एक बात बताओ. सो इंडिया से हाउ डिड द जर्नी टू द यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स हैपन?
इंडिया से यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स की जर्नी की बैक स्टोरी थोड़ी डिफरेंट है. इट वाज लाइक, तो मैं फर्स्ट क्लास क्रिकेट जब खेला था, तो उसी के नेक्स्ट ईयर कोविड आ गया था. सो इट वाज लाइक आई गॉट माय ब्रेक, बट देन आई गॉट अ ब्रेक. So 2 years there was nothing on the table for me. And cricketing में क्या होता है, once cricketing उसमें क्या होता है, and you must have seen at TV also, कि एक बार आप थोड़ा साइड होते हो और आपका नाम चला जाता है ना इधर उधर, फिर वापस कोई और आ जाता है.
मुश्किल हो जाता है.
हाँ, there again like there's प्लेयरों की कमी नहीं है इंडिया में. So then again I got kind of a window of opportunity in a way कि because of COVID, BCCI said that instead of under 23, we are doing under 25 because of the lost people who were under 23. They lost couple of years, so we are doing under 25. I was like, okay, I have a shot at that 1 year, and I was very keen to play that. And everything was like going in plan. I was in the team also, and it was like, okay, I packed my bags and I had a morning 6 a.m. flight to but some documentation error occurred, and at 12 a.m. I'm getting a call that you can't go tomorrow. There is some kind of document that BCCI still hasn't verified, so we are waiting on that. And
where were you
at
going?
home, I was going to Bangalore for the tournament.
Oh shit. Okay.
So that was like, so that moment was really heartbreaking for me, because I was really waiting for that moment for 2-3 years.
Because you did everything right.
Yeah.
I mean,
For 2-3 years I was waiting for that moment, and I was so there are times when you really feel ready for the opportunity you're about to get. So at that time I remember that I was really feeling very confident about my batting, very confident. I was like, okay, all set, all boxes ticked. But sadly I got a call saying that, you know, so there is a, you need to fill a form and send it to BCCI, and when you have represented another state, so you kind of have to submit a NOC to do the BCCI when you're switching states. So I was switching states, so that NOC didn't reach BCCI. So, and the window kind of had closed.
Oh.
So that just blew my season.
bureaucracy.
तो वहां से आपने सोचा डोमेस्टिक छोड़ो, इंटरनेशनल फ्लाइट ही पड़ते हैं?
नहीं, उसके बाद एक्चुअली हुआ क्या कि फिर वो एक बारी विंडो गई, तो देन तो मेरे पास विंडो थी सीनियर टीम में ब्रेक करने की. अब सीनियर टीम ऑफ यूपी.
ओके.
So senior team break karna was very tough for me, because there are already players, big players were already playing, right? And then there is a line of players who are playing the under 25s and want to go through, and they're and I'm trying to bisect that line from outside, right? So for me it was always going to be tough. So I tried 1 year to bisect that line, but I couldn't. So then I was like, okay, at that time US cricket was.
Did you have games to play at that point in time to showcase? Because I know that there's a selection process that selectors will come and see certain games. So
yeah, it happens, but it's always tough to kind of replace someone who is all people who have already performed in the main season.
Got it. So this was not the main season.
No,
that is what I wanted to get. So this was a very outside. You anyway, the chance of getting selected was very little.
So if I had gotten into under 25 and I had performed, then I would be like, okay, it's a stepping stone now.
It would have been much
easier for me to get into the senior side. But that did not happen. Then I was like, okay, I was looking for opportunity to play outside, and I heard that US is the cricket's growing. So it was like I considered, so you know, I always like I told you, I always believe that if I keep doing the hard work, something or the other thing might pop up. So that's how I feel US popped up. US popped up at a time when I was least expecting it, and I just had passed my resume around in, you know, US. So my dad being a software engineer, he had a couple of friends who could help pass the resume around, because ultimately in US cricket is mostly run by IT professionals there, because they are the guys who are putting in the money.
Right.
So, and at that time,
predominantly because of the Indian diaspora and IT.
Yeah. And at that time, it was just like the beginning of US cricket. So they needed players. They only had a limited of players. Everybody needed players at that time. So I kind of my resume got passed around. I got 1 or 2 offers from the different teams, and that's how I kind of ended up accepting that offer. Though it was, that also was a very tough decision, because that meant I had to give up on Indian cricket, because BCCI doesn't allow you to play T20 franchise cricket abroad.
Oh
yes.
Yeah.
Hence no one plays.
Hence no Indian player plays in the global league.
Because
you are allowed to play red ball and 50 over. That's why you can see players going to England and playing county
cricket, yeah.
but you'll not see them.
So if you play a T20 league abroad, then you can't play the IPL.
You can't play the IPL as a domestic Indian player anymore.
Overseas.
So now if I want to aspire to play IPL, then I have to kind of get my PR there in US, and then I have to apply as a foreign player.
So you become an overseas player.
Yeah, I am an overseas player now.
So America में आपकी journey कैसे रही है? I mean, was it like getting into a new country? Obviously, there'll be challenges.
Yeah.
So how did you adjust to the new culture? And were there any hardships that you faced? So how do you like sort of come through that?
Hardships, definitely. America is a place which can be lonely if you are going there alone, and especially in a field of cricket where you don't find many people. But I met nice people. I've stayed in people's houses for 6 months also initially.
Oh, wow.
Because in US when you go, you need to have a lot of some credit score or something before you can kind of rent out an apartment or something. So initially people helped me a lot, but yeah, it's tough in a way. It's tough and it has its pros. I would say it's tough in a way that I cook all my 3 meals every day, right? I do all the stuff. It's very 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 independent life. Everything is dependent on you. There's no one else you can rely on there. So that way I have to manage. So there I have to do a bit of coaching also on weekdays, because on weekdays you don't really have any kind of professional cricket going on. So that kind of the income from that runs your house.
Yeah, that's something interesting. तो आप किसको coach करते हो? मतलब like
Usually players under 17. So I am associated with an academy there. So from Monday to Friday I coach there in evenings.
And how is cricket picking up amongst the local diaspora?
Cricket, people are really crazy about cricket. You can say that now it is being picked up in an organized way. Before it was like everybody loves cricket, fans.
The T20 World Cup, yeah.
That definitely helped. And the major league helps. Major league, big stars coming to US helps.
थोड़ा major league के बारे में बताइए. I believe
minor and major league. I think
yeah.
a lot of
So you're playing the minor league right now with ambitions to get into major league, which I believe is like the IPL of the United States.
Yeah.
तो उसके बारे में थोड़ा
minor, you
बताइए.
can say that the Syed Mushtaq Ali of India. So it's like the domestic T20 tournament which has around 25 teams, different cities, like, and it works in a conference manner. So if somebody follows the NBA, they have the Western, Eastern conference. So similarly in minor league we have the Western conference, Central, Southern and Eastern. So teams in different conferences kind of compete with each other, and two teams from each conference,
playoffs or something.
Yeah, they come for the playoffs to a central location, and then they have the playoffs, and you get a minor league champion. Major league has 6 teams right now, but they're planning to expand to 8 by 2027. So they have 4 IPL owning teams. They have the Texas Super Kings, they have the MI New York, they have the LA Knight Riders, and then Seattle Orcas is 50% owned by Delhi Capitals.
Right. So how does the transition happen from minor to major? Matlab, do they scout for talent from the minor leagues and then give them a chance?
Yeah. So they kind of look at stats, and the scouts are around. They're looking to fill up the spots. Franchise cricket, how it works is that it depends on the requirement. A team, you might have the best batsman they're playing, but a team requires a fast bowler. Yeah. So it depends on that thing. So it's kind of some permutation combinations, you can say, where who needs what, they are looking for that.
Right.
And what kind of outside talent plays in the major league in terms of like countries that are very dominant in the Sena countries?
I think lots of major players that you see in IPL. So someone like Pollard, Bravo, and then Nicholas Pooran, and then Brevis, and then there's Faf du Plessis, and Sunil Narayan, Andrew Russell, all the big names in T20 cricket, they play. Even Rashid Khan plays. So all the big names. For Klassen plays for Seattle Orcas. So all the big international stars T20, they play in MLC.
Nice.
You're speaking about Brevis, Klassen. There's a person from the same country जो आपको बहुत fascinate करता है. You really look up to him.
Yeah.
And you're a big fan. I'm a South African fan, so at least we connected on that also.
Yeah.
So his name is AB de Villiers. तो उनके लिए वो passion, वो जज्बा, वो liking कैसे आया आपको?
So when I switched to batting in my life.
Yeah, speak about that first, because आपने पूरा एक हमारे ऊपर एक गुगली फेंक दिया कि you started as a googly bowler and then you got into batting.
Yeah, I don't know. So again, like, so that was the time when when I told you that I kind of learned that I need to satisfy myself from my hard work, and also I think bowling was someone, because I had got some early little success. I was very success oriented, that way, result oriented, because then I started to get frustrated with leg spin, because then a time came when you become 18, 19 that the competition increases and you stop getting the results that you were getting at the age of 16.
Right.
So that kind of started making me frustrated and kind of dislike bowling. And I started enjoying batting because I thought I could bat, and I found it fun. So I don't know exactly what, but one day I just thought to myself that okay, let me give 1 year to batting. I think I can bat, and let me give 1 year to batting. So that 1 year went really well. Again, like I kind of got some best batsmen in some tournaments and all, and I kind of made myself and my family believe that I can bat, because the biggest thing was that they were like, we have been supporting you for bowling and all, and now you are saying at the age of 20 you want to completely switch.
Yeah, it's quite late.
तो आपने
Yeah,
बोला
and-
स्टीव स्मिथ कर सकता है तो मैं क्यों
नहीं, उस टाइम पे तो शायद स्टीव स्मिथ ने भी नहीं करा था, पता नहीं.
It's quite late actually. It's quite
हाँ,
commendable.
2021 पे मैच,
change your
and
entire-
when I've got some success already, like
Yeah.
I played under 19 as a bowler and all, मेरे को success मिल चुका उसमें, but फिर मेरे को हुआ कि नहीं, मेरे को मजा नहीं आ रहा उसमें. तो I switched it. वो एक साल अच्छा गया तो I could prove to my family also कि भाई मैं कर सकता हूँ ये भी. So they were like okay. But then I kind of to really become good, because I was like, oh, okay, but I have to become good, right? I have to solid, make my technique very solid and all, and I have to work. So there was a coach. He's still my coach. So they in Noida. So I kind of went up to him. First, I started to go to the academy where he used to coach. I went for a couple of months and all, and then I asked him that I want some personal coaching from you. He's like, why do you need personal? You're batting well and all this. Like, no. I said, I insisted on that. No. I need it for a couple of. I need it. So then he said, okay. So from the next day onwards, every morning 6 a.m. before the school opened, because where the academy was, we used to go practice 1 hour practice. So for almost 1 year, we used to do that until I had a very strong base in my technique. Like the base was ready.
Right.
So yeah, those 1 or 2 years, and I remember, because I knew that I have a very short period to make myself successful as a batsman. I told myself that I'll not miss any matches. So whether it be a very low quality match, whether it be a high quality match, I am going to play every match. And my aim, and anywhere in Delhi, I've driven 1.5 hours away to play a game, and then come back at 8 p.m. in the night. I've played like 4 or 5 games in a row in a week. So I just told myself that I have to play games, as many games, because I knew that game time is something that's really going to build, not just batting in the nets. So that 1-2 years, I kind of left no game. I went to every other game, played on every kind of wicket against every kind of players and all. And that kind of really gave me the confidence and made me good enough to call myself as a batsman, and for people to recognize me as a batsman. Because I used to walk into tournaments and people would be surprised, because they would be like, "Arey, Shashwat to batting kar raha Shashwat." So they would be like that, because I was decently well-known name as a bowler in the Delhi circuit. So everybody looking at me like that was. So I had a point to prove again to them also, and to myself also. So that 1-2 years, I don't know how many games I played. I was playing every day. I did not. I had got a through sports quota. I had got into DU, and I barely went into college. I remember that I was playing some or other game, and my dad had to go to kind of sign for some before I examined some form and all. So the teacher was there like, आपको पता है आपके बेटे की attendance कितनी है? तो मेरे ने नहीं वो तो मैं कहा नहीं, तो उसने कहा कि उसकी अटेंडेंस 11% है. तो उन्होंने कहा कि अरे नहीं, वो स्पोर्ट्स में है ना, स्पोर्ट्स कोटा मिला के ही आपको बता रही हूँ. तो मतलब मैं कॉलेज तो बिल्कुल ही नहीं गया. आई हैड काइंड ऑफ जीरो कॉलेज लाइफ.
But you must have worked really hard on your fitness, huh? Because if you were playing 5 days, 6 games a week, it really takes a toll.
At the age of 20-21, you kind of your body is like that. Mine was like that. I'm sure everyone's different. That I kind of built that match fitness. I was not really into specific training. Right. That was something that I came into at the age of 23-24 कि हाँ भाई अब मुझे थोड़ा अभी दिन मेरे को 2 घंटा सिर्फ ट्रेनिंग करनी है, 2 घंटा प्रैक्टिस, मोर ऑर्गेनाइज्ड में चलेगा. पहले तो बस ये था कि स्किल तो डेवलप कर लो, सिर्फ फिटनेस के दम पे कौन खिला रहा है.
या आप फिटनेस पे काम करते हो, हम दोनों फैटनेस पे काम करते हैं.
So now that you're playing for the Seattle minor
Seattle Thunderbolts.
Seattle Thunderbolts. So what is the way ahead for you? How do you see yourself progressing? And you also mentioned offline that in the next 1.5 years you'll also be eligible for you may be eligible for a PR, and you will shift to your aim is also to play for the US national team. So how do you see that progressing for you?
So right now my aim is to enter major league. So we have our minor league season coming up this year. So my goal is to do well in that. So ultimately I can get picked up in the next year's draft. So because entering the major league opens a lot of doors for you, because if you get a game and you do well in the major league also, you get to play some global leagues, like Canada has their own league, and all the not the major ones, but at
Canada
least
has GL20,
GT20.
GT20.
So they not that's why I'm saying not the big ones, not the big bash, not the SAT20, but at the small ones. And then once you start playing the small ones, you get in that circle, because you see that the owners mostly are common around the world.
Okay.
Right.
So once you start doing well, it's like people.
So
then
they
they
kind of like take.
it's a networking thing. Then
Networking.
True globalization, courtesy
True
IPL.
Also, it's
globalization.
exactly like
I
a
think it's
corporate
done
job.
very
Yeah,
well
yeah.
for cricket.
It's exactly like a corporate job.
I'm very happy with that, because people like me can really survive on playing cricket now.
That is-
Otherwise, everybody would be like, play the IPL or play India.
Exactly.
But now, apart from those two things, also if you play global cricket, you can really live well.
Have you realized this? That there is a whole. What we see is the tip of the pyramid. There's a whole scene that is going on right
We are
now.
not being able to see the tip also right now.
I mean, but yeah,
but I get your sentiment.
IPL
Yeah.
and everything, and then you have so many things happening.
So,
like Shashwat has mentioned.
so
This is incredible.
obviously, if you come in favor with some franchisee, some IPL franchisee, you can play other leagues also. Yeah.
No, it's not just that. It's just like Canada bhi hai,
Yeah,
ye bhi hai,
exactly.
A lot of these
A
things
lot
that keep happening. It is incredible, yeah.
Like you can really be busy throughout the year playing cricket.
And it's almost like a job if you look at it that way.
Yeah.
It is almost like a job. It's like you are there, you're middle management, and then you can get into senior management wherever
Yeah.
you can if you perform well, and if
You're kind of like a private contractor.
yeah, and if fortune favors you.
Yeah.
Luck, I'm guessing, is extremely important.
Yeah, getting the opportunity at the right time, you being at the right place.
Yeah.
Like I definitely consider myself being at the right place when the US was happening.
Right.
So we were speaking about ABD, और हमने obviously उस पे we didn't like really delve into that. तो दुनिया जानते हैं कि he's a very good batter and मतलब वो हर जगह छक्के मारते हैं, out of the ground, साउथ अफ्रीका से मारते हैं, वेस्ट इंडीज तक जाते हैं. But apart from his cricketing skills, why do you admire ABD?
I think because of his versatility, adaptability. I don't think there is any batsman in the whole world who can adapt to different formats like he does. I mean, nobody else comes to my mind. Like I can challenge anyone to name someone who can really adapt like him to different formats, who can score a 30 ball 100 and then play 200 balls and score 10 runs also.
अब वो पता भी recently उन्होंने एक 28 ball 100 मारा था.
हाँ, एक charity
The
game
Titans
है.
cricket team versus the same area का rugby team which is called as Bulls.
Oh,
So Titans versus Bulls, उसमें उन्होंने एक 28 ball 100 मारा था at like he's my age 41. So
yeah.
guys, I'm not 200 years old. So that's
nahin,
pretty incredible.
definitely I love the nickname of Superman for him, because I feel he can do things that nobody else can. The shots he can play, we haven't seen anybody kind of lap sweep fast bowler really. So that way, yeah, there's no one really close to him also. Yeah, that way. So I admire him because of that. I feel that if somebody can achieve that skill level where he is able to play every part of the ground and he is able to adapt himself to every format, I don't think there's too much left to achieve then for that guy.
So basically, adaptability.
Yeah, adaptability is the
That's
biggest
one
thing in cricket.
Right. I think it's the biggest thing in life.
Yeah.
I mean, life is a playground, and वहाँ पे we need to adapt to everything that's happening around us.
Definitely.
Sort of like what you've done, right? You started off as a leg spinner, you achieved quite a bit of success, and then you suddenly said that no, I have to adapt, I have to become a batsman. And then you saw that India was not working out because of a stupid bureaucratic error, which snowballed that. And then you adapted, you went to the US where you do your own laundry, you cook your own food, you do all of those things, and now you are basically gunning for a major league contract.
Contract,
This
yeah.
this thing is also like an adaptable journey, man. It's
Yeah.
incredible if you look at it that way.
मैं अपनी खुद की लॉन्ड्री शुरू कर रहा हूँ भाई. I'm adapting to that.
Just one question I had on this particular thing, because of this whole H1B and a lot of hoopla that's happening after the Trump administration has come, do you see something affecting your cricket residency in some way or the other? How do you tackle this sort of a minefield?
No, because H1B is totally different visa. It's a work visa for I think IT professionals and all. I am on a visa called O1. So O1 is someone who has extraordinary ability in sports, science, media, arts.
Got it.
So that's a totally different visa, and it's kind of a rare visa. So you don't really meet many people with O1 visas there. And especially O1 on cricket is something that even when I enter the US, the immigration officer is also surprised by.
Yeah, I mean, because
Yeah.
US is not really known for
Yeah, he's like, oh, cricket? I didn't know that they are giving O1 visas to cricketers now.
So that you see is going to be an easier path to getting PR and
Yeah, because O1 visa has a totally different line to. So you must have heard that H1B visas, the line for the green card is ranging from 20 years to 100 years.
Yes.
But on O1, it's like 2-3 years.
Oh, that's nice. So that basically makes your life easier.
Yeah,
and
I can plan my future.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, that's to actually think of it, to actually devise your career in a way that okay, chalo, yahan nahi ho raha, so I'll find another way, but I'll find a way to play cricket. That's very commendable. Yeah, that's
And that's exactly what we sort of honor on this channel. The motto is that if you have the will to succeed, failing is never an option.
And this is a
And,
perfect
yeah,
example
exactly.
of ये आप बंद कर रहे हो तो मैं ये खोलूंगा, आप ये दरवाजा बंद करो कोई बात नहीं मैं ये खोलूंगा, आप ये दरवाजा बंद कर रहे हो मैं ये खोलूंगा. It's
You kind of have to, I feel sometimes, mold your dream in slightly different direction
You know,
if it's not working out.
What's very important, Shashwat, is, and maybe Nishant also has a point of view on that you should never lose sight of what you eventually want.
Yeah.
And then you can take an X lane, you can take a Y lane, you can take a Z lane. But अगर आपका sight, आपका goal is very clear,
As long as you know what you
so
want to
you
do.
will somehow manage to achieve.
Yeah.
And speaking about that, तो अभी आपका eventual goal क्या है? Now you are in minor league cricket. वहाँ से आप कहाँ जाना चाहते हो? और eventually, like we were saying, that you might harbor the ambitions of representing United States at some point. So how you like sort of figuring that out?
So ultimately, if you ask me like what will happen that will make you happy, you know, so that would be like if I'm able to play global cricket around the world, if I'm able to play all the major leagues around the world, I think I'll be a happy man.
So
If I get to travel around the world and play
in England,
play
play in
cricket
Australia.
around the world, all the major leagues, I think I would be living my dream.
And playing for the United States as in like country level cricket.
Definitely. But now I feel that all the focus has shifted towards franchise cricket and all, and that has become slightly, you can say, a higher competitive cricket now. So that is, I can say slightly I'm more tilted towards that. USA will eventually happen or not happen. I'm not really running behind it. It's like, okay, if I'm good enough, they'll pick me, because right now I don't even know how the system works there and all, because I'm not qualified. So I'm not really dived into that.
Because once you get your PR only then you would be able to figure it out. Nice.
Right. So guys, we've been speaking for a good 30-35 minutes right now, and it's been really good chatting with Shashwat.
And what about US cricket, which at least I had no idea.
Yeah, from UP to US, I mean, that was awesome. You was the common thing, and for us, you was the person who matters. So, Abhi, how's your experience been coming on the show, and if there's a message that you would like to give to our viewers, and then possibly Nishant can close this podcast with his wisdom.
I think message not only for viewers but for anyone would be like, if you kind of get stuck sometimes, just try to understand what you really want to do in life. So if it's not I think sometimes everyone gets stuck in a way that you want a particular thing but you also decide the way you want it. And I think that's not for you to decide the way you want it. Ultimate thing is you want that thing. Now you kind of have to gel along how you reach that path. So it's not that, okay, if I want to get from point A to B and that's how I'm going to get it, I'm going to go straight. But that's not how really life is. But if you continue to look at B, which is your goal, you will eventually end up there.
Right.
Beautiful words. Huh? This is exactly what we spoke about with ABD and adaptability and Shashwat's own journey of basically navigating through whatever system. His dream is to play cricket for a living and play in all the major leagues. And he's adapted a way which is very different from others. And that's what we kind of like admire as well, that you're not giving up no matter how many obstacles come your way. If you like this episode, which I hope you would, please like, share, and subscribe. And let's talk about stories like this, which basically showcase that whenever there are obstacles, you can easily, not easily maybe, but if you have your end goal in mind, you don't get to decide your journey. Your journey kind of gets decided for you if your destination is clear in your mind.
Right. I completely agree with that. Thanks, Shashwat. Thanks for giving us your time.
Thank you.
And I hope you enjoyed this podcast.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. Thank you guys for inviting me.
Thank you.
This is us from Rangman Show signing off. Ciao.